The Detroit Lions have won 8 games in a row. They're 9-1. They share the best record with the Kansas City Chiefs, who suffered their first loss to the Buffalo Bills this past weekend. We'll get more into that later on. But yeah, the Detroit Lions. You have to love this if you're a Detroit Lions fan. I mean, if you're living in the state of Michigan or anywhere in the world, this is awesome. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, another touchdown reception. Eight straight games with at least one touchdown reception. That guy is on fire, dude. I'm telling you. I've said it numerous times on the podcast. He is Mr. Reliable. Jared Goff, that's his favorite target, man. That's his go-to guy. And it shows these past 8 games. At least one reception touchdown in the past 8 games for Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had 2 this past Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They absolutely annihilated, absolutely destroyed the Jacksonville Jaguars. 52-6, man. I was at that game. And me, my brother, my uncle, dude. Oh, my God. An absolute ass whooping right there, man. I get it. It's against Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not the greatest team. I get it. But, dude, after that horrible performance by Jared Goff Sunday night a couple weeks ago against the Texans, 5 interceptions. He comes back and throws for 400-plus yards and 4 touchdowns, dude. Unbelievable. So, yeah, we got to get into that. Welcome to Guys Time, The Brise. The Brise is back. We got football to talk about. Week 11 already. Week 11 wrapped up last night. The Dallas Cowboys. I don't know why this game was even on Monday Night Football, man. How in the hell did the Dallas Cowboys, a team that's god-awful, hasn't won a single game at home, how do they get the Monday Night Football primetime spot? I mean, you got to be kidding me, right? They're absolutely horrible. They got their asses kicked by the Texans. But I got to talk about this Lions game real quick. So as I mentioned, Lions win 52-6. Lions set a record. All right, another record-setting week for these Detroit Lions. I mean, it seems like every week we're hearing about records being broken, whether it's total yards or how many incompletions versus how many touchdown passes, how many receptions, how many targets, how many yards, how many points the defense gives up, how many sacks we get. The Lions, another week of breaking records. So this week wasn't different. I get it. Jacksonville Jaguars, not the greatest team in the NFL. I understand. There are worse teams out there. But the Lions set records for total net yards. 644 total net yards. Dude, that's insane. 644 total yards for the Detroit Lions offense. Unbelievable. And then they had 38 first downs. 38 first downs. Like, how's that even possible? That's like unheard of. And then all their 7 possessions the Lions had, they scored touchdowns. And then obviously their last possession, they scored a field goal. But dude, every single possession they had, they scored points. But the first 7 they scored a touchdown. I mean, dominance. I don't know what other word to use when we're talking about this team. Absolute dominance. They are on a mission. They want to win the whole damn thing. And they might. We're getting there. We're almost at the finish line. We got a lot more football to play. We got the Colts coming up. We got Thanksgiving. Haven't won a Thanksgiving game in a while, so we have to win that. But we got to focus on the Colts this week. There's a lot of football to be played, my friend. Lots and lots of football to be played. So you got that. And then they scored, as I mentioned, they scored touchdowns on all 7 possessions that they had. That's absolutely phenomenal. And then through the first 10 games, they rank number 1 in points scored, 336. First in touchdowns, 42 after 11 weeks. Second in first downs, 228. So this team doesn't get off the field. I mean, they're going down the field, they're chewing up the clock, and they're scoring points. They're third in rushing touchdowns with 18. Obviously you got Sonic and Knuckles. You got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Both had great games this past weekend. And they have the third most passing touchdowns with 22. And then they have the third most total net yards with 3,947 yards. And they're only behind the Ravens and the 49ers. That's unbelievable. And I strongly believe right now the Detroit Lions can beat both of those teams without question. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, we got to talk about them a little bit. They have the worst defense. Worst defense. So they're ranked 32nd yards per game, 413.7 yards per game, and they allow 28.7 points per game. Yeah, that's not good. That organization not looking good at all. I'm surprised Doug Peterson still has a job. I mean, let's be honest. I really thought after the game, or at least Monday morning, he would get fired. I mean, how Doug Peterson still has a job with Jacksonville, it's insane. I think any other coach would have been fired. So Doug Peterson, get that resume going, my friend. I think you need to start looking for another job because your time in Jacksonville, it's done, brother. It's not looking good for you. But the fact that he still has a job, I haven't heard anything coming through the news, the sports news. So he still has a job as of right now. But crazy. And then you got Jared Goff, 24 of 29, so only 5 incompletions, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, perfect passer rating of 158.3. That's a hell of a way to come back after throwing 5 interceptions against the Houston Texans on the road. He needed this game. I said it last week. You have to go out there and dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars, brush off that horrible performance against the Texans, and that's exactly what this guy did. 412 yards, 4 touchdowns. You can say what you want about Jared Goff. He's a top 3 quarterback right now. He might even be the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, the stats speak for itself. He's won 8 straight games. He's thrown, at the time, he had more touchdowns than incompletions. I mean, what more do you want from this guy? And then with that, he is the only quarterback in NFL history to throw 400 yards, have a perfect passer rating, and have a perfect passer rating twice in his career. The other time he had a perfect passer rating, he was a member of the Los Angeles Rams, 2018, when they won against the Vikings. He is the only quarterback to do that twice. Throw for 400 plus yards and have a perfect passer rating. Unbelievable. And he's done that twice in his career. This past Sunday and then 2018 against the Vikings when he was a member of the Rams. The Lions. I mean, we love the offense, right? We know what this offense is capable of doing, right? But this defense, though, has been great. The Lions, their defense allowed 170 total points or 170 total yards in offense. 170 yards, that's it. 41 of them were rushing yards. I mean, understandably, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars have no running game at all. They don't have an offensive line. They don't have a team. This team does not have a team, man. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is out. I even think if Trevor Lawrence was out there, I don't think it would even mattered. You got Mac Jones out there doing the best he can with what he's got. That team is, God awful. God awful. I mean, they're not going to get enough crap like I do with the Cowboys because the Cowboys, I mean, come on. That's a comedy show every week. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, man, that organization needs an extreme makeover. Remember that show? Yeah. Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars need an extreme makeover because that's god-awful what we're seeing there in Jacksonville. But yeah, Lions allowed 170 yards in total offense. 41 of them were rushing yards. St. Brown, as I mentioned earlier, 8th straight game with a touchdown reception. He had 2 in this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That guy's unbelievable. I mean, dude, arguably top 3 wide receiver. I mean, yeah, you can put Jamar Chase up there, Justin Jefferson, whatever you want. That's fine. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, dude, He had 11 targets and 11 receptions. Mr. Reliable. I said it numerous times. And then with this victory, or with that 8th straight game with a touchdown reception for Amon-Ra St. Brown, it ties the third longest single season streak in the NFL since the 1970 AFL-NFL merger. So, dude, this guy, I'm telling you, they got the Colts this Sunday. He's going to get another reception. I'll put a bet on that right now. He's going to get another touchdown reception. What they're doing right now, this Detroit Lions team, it's special. Us Detroit Lions fans, enjoy this moment. We have a lot of football to play. I get that. But 9-1, 8 in a row, a clear lead in the NFC North, I'll take it. I'll take it. So you got that. That was awesome. Absolutely phenomenal. So you got that. The Detroit Lions absolutely dominating, destroying, crushing the will, crushing the spirit of those poor Jacksonville Jaguars. And Doug Pearson still has a job. Crazy. Unbelievable. So week 11 started Thursday night. You got the Eagles beating the Commanders 26-18. Yeah, the Commanders didn't look too good in that one. Eagles won 5 straight. They're looking pretty good right now, competing with the Commanders in the NFC East, because those are the only 2 teams that are possibly going to make it to the playoffs, because Cowboys aren't doing shit, and the Giants, oh god, I mean, when you benched Daniel Jones this week in favor of Tommy DeVito, who was the 3rd string quarterback coming into this week, and now they upgraded him, they promoted him to the starting quarterback. So Drew Lock, they have no faith in that guy. Daniel Jones' time in New York, it's done. They're not going anywhere either. So you had that. And then the Bears. These Bears, dude, they just find ways to lose every single time. Last second field goal, a chance to win, and the field goal kick gets blocked by the Packers. The Packers hold on to win 20-19. You know, the Bears argued that the defensive players use leverage on the lawn snapper to make the play happen. You can't do that, right? Because he's unprotected. So, it's still a victory for the Packers, right? And the Packers, watch out for those guys, dude. They're creeping up behind us in the NFC North. But the Bears, that franchise is in trouble, dude. That franchise just doesn't know. They have no clue what's going on. They're screwed, man. I mean, Caleb Williams, yikes. And then the Lions dominating Jaguars. We don't have to go through this again. 52-6. Lions looked absolutely phenomenal, right? David Montgomery with a couple touchdowns there. The Vikings going up against the Titans. And the Vikings win this one on the road, 23-13. The Dolphins destroying these pathetic Raiders. I mean, this is another franchise. They're worse than the Jaguars. Dolphins win 34-19. Tua Tagovailoa had 3 touchdowns in this game. He looked pretty good. The Rams on the road defeating the Patriots, another pathetic franchise. 28-22. Stafford had 4 touchdowns. What did I tell you last week? I've been telling you for a couple weeks. A fully healthy Rams team. They might be 5-5. And that NFC West is wide open. You got 3 teams with 5-5 records. They're one of them. The other 2 are the Seahawks and the 49ers. And then the Cardinals are leading. They're in the lead in the NFC West. Dude, watch out for these Rams, dude. Watch out for these Rams. They're looking pretty damn scary. The Saints win their 2nd straight game. New head coach, 35-14. Taysom Hill had a hell of a game. 3 rushing touchdowns, 138 yards. Beast. Absolute beast. And then the Colts beat the Jets, 28-27. Very close game there. But these Jets, dude. Aaron Rodgers. It's time to go, brother. After this season, just retire. Okay? Obviously, it's not working in New York for you. And that's very upsetting because there's a lot of talent on this New York team. But that New York team it's done, brother. Aaron Rodgers needs to retire. Just go home, retire. You made your money. You won a Super Bowl. You don't need to prove anything else. But this is another team who's god-awful. God-awful. And then we got the Ravens and the Steelers. Another classic rivalry game. In the low-scoring affair, Steelers win 18-16. So 6 field goals. 6 field goals from this Pittsburgh Steelers team. They did not score a single touchdown in this game. They didn't score a single touchdown. And they still won 18-16. How is that even possible, dude? You score 6 field goals, not a single touchdown, and you still win 18-16 at home. Tough matchup here. It's always a close one. Chris Boswell, if you have him in your fantasy league, you're one lucky dude. Crazy. So with that victory from the Steelers, they've won 7 out of the last 8 games versus Baltimore. So Baltimore just cannot beat this team. Whether they're playing in Pittsburgh, whether they're playing in Baltimore, they just can't beat them, these Ravens. And then the last 9 games between these two teams, they have been decided by 7 points or less. Like I said, this is a close matchup. It's a low-scoring affair. They're fighting. Whoever comes out on top, you're not going to be winning by much. Look what happened here, 18-16, right? Steelers win that one. And then you got Baltimore. They record season lows in points. Coming to this game, they had the best offense, number 1 offense in the league. Season low in points. You can thank that for the Steelers, who have one of the top defenses in the league. Yards, 329 yards total. They had 12 penalties and 3 turnovers. So obviously, when you have that many penalties and that many turnovers, more than likely you're not going to win anything. And this is a division matchup too. This is the AFC North matchup between these two teams. You cannot commit 12 penalties and you cannot commit 3 turnovers, okay? That's losing football. You're not going to win. You're going to suck. It's not pretty. The other team's going to take advantage of it, and that's what the Steelers did. You just cannot make those dumb mistakes in games like these. You just can't. It's not going to work. And then Lamar Jackson. Obviously, this guy's great, right? One of the best quarterbacks around. One of the most exciting players to ever step foot on the field. He has a 1-4 record against these Steelers as a starter. 1-4. Against the Bengals, against the Browns, he kicks their ass. He's winning games against those two franchises, the rest of the AFC North. But against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 1-4 as a starter. And I read this too on ESPN. He has more NFL MVPs. He's got 2 than wins against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He only has 1 win against these guys. So take that into some perspective. More NFL MVPs, 2, than he has wins against the Pittsburgh Steelers. What? Dude, that's insane. And then in these games, he has 5 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. 5 and 8. That's not good. When you're a star player, you got to find ways to win against these Pittsburgh Steelers. Because they're red hot right now. They're 8-2, 4-1 at home. A clear lead in the AFC North. You have to find ways to win against this team. Lamar and the Ravens couldn't do it. So another exciting game there. And then Derrick Henry had another rushing touchdown. That guy's a beast. But Pittsburgh's defense held him to 65 yards. Steelers, man, watch out. Don't sleep on them. Broncos destroying, absolutely annihilating the Falcons at home, 38-16. Bo Nix had 4 touchdowns, 307 yards passing. Broncos, 6-5. Their defense looking damn good. The Falcons falling down a little bit. What's going on there? They got to wake up. Something bad, Kirk Cousins, man. He's got to wake up. That defense needs to wake up too, giving up 38 points. Whew. Against a Broncos offense who's not even that good. You made Bo Nix look like a superstar. And then you got the Seahawks and the 49ers. Seahawks win this one 20-17. They're 5-5. With the loss, the 49ers are 5-5. So that team is up. That division rather is up for grabs, right? So you have that. And then the Bills and the Chiefs. The highlight game of Week 11. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. This one's always a great one. Regular season matchup between these two teams. The Bills finally are the first team this season to beat those Chiefs. About damn time that these Chiefs won. We can all be happy this week. Because let's be honest, who is a Chiefs fan besides people living in Kansas City, Missouri? Come on. 9-0 coming to this game. A lot of their games decided by 1 point or less, or by 1 point, one score games. I think 7 of them. And then a handful of those games came down within the last couple seconds. But the Bills, man, unbelievable. Great performance by Josh Allen. He had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown in this game. But yes, thank you, Buffalo, for giving Kansas City their first loss of the season. We love you for that. Thank you so much. Now we can all shut up about the Chiefs, hopefully, right? Josh Allen, 26-yard touchdown run on fourth and 2 with 2:17 left in the game. I watched that play. Dude, that guy is awesome, dude. Big dude. This guy can run, obviously. And he ran and he scored a touchdown, and that was the game winner, 30-21. And then with that victory, Josh Allen has evened out his record against the Chiefs. He's 4-4 against these Chiefs. 4-1 in the regular season, but 0-3 in the playoffs. So Mahomes owns his ass in the playoffs, right? But regular season, Josh Allen, he wins the game. But if these teams face each other in the playoffs, Josh Allen's going to have to find a way to beat the Chiefs, man. You got to beat Mahomes in the playoffs. That's great. You beat him in the regular season. You gave the Chiefs their first loss of the season. It took 11 weeks. 11 weeks for the Chiefs to lose. They had a 15-game winning streak coming in. You guys beat them at home. You guys are undefeated at home. 5-0. That's awesome. But come playoff time, if these two meet, which is a very high possibility, right? You have to beat this team. That's when it counts. Right? Because the next game, whoever wins that game in the playoffs, you get a little closer to the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens with that. But we love it. It's regular season. We got a lot of football to come to play yet. It's great. The Chiefs have come into this game, as I mentioned, have won 15 straight games. Their last loss before losing to the Bills was against the Raiders last year, December 17th. 2023, almost a year, almost 1 year since they lost. They lost to the Raiders 20-14 last year. That was their last loss coming to this game. 15 straight, 9-0. They finally lose. We're all happy. Let's go. It's football. Let's have a great time. And then Mahomes was 23 of 33, 196 yards. He had 3 touchdowns in this game, but 2 interceptions. So he's thrown a lot more interceptions than what we're used to seeing, right? Patrick Mahomes. And then you had Josh Allen, 27 of 40, 262 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and an interception. The Bills, with this game, they've won 6 straight. And they have a clear lead in the AFC East, 9-2, 5-0 at home. As I mentioned, they're undefeated. That was the highlight game of the week. That was awesome. While that might have been the highlight game of the week because of the names mentioned, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, I can arguably say the best game of Week 11, the best, was the Bengals and Chargers Sunday Night Football. And remember, this game was flexed for the Sunday Night Football spot. They were supposed to have this game on Sunday afternoon. But they flexed it to the Sunday Night Football spot, and thank God they did. because this was unreal. This was crazy, dude. I mean, you couldn't have written a better script than that, because we are in LA, right? So Bengals and Chargers, great matchup. Probably the best matchup of Week 11. Chargers were up 24-6 at halftime, 27-6 in the third quarter. They almost lost this damn game. Like crazy, dude. It's like your team dominated the first half, and then the second half, what, did you guys take a nap? Go to sleep? Get hung over? Did the Bengals almost beat you? The Bengals almost beat you, and they're 4-7. Crazy. J.K. Dobbins had a rushing touchdown with 18 seconds left. It was the game winner. That was a great run by him, too. I mean, unbelievable, that guy. Then Ladd McConkey. Who? Who's this guy? Ladd McConkey? Is he Irish? Who is this guy? Well, you're going to know him now. 6 receptions for 123 yards. 2 big grabs late in the fourth quarter to set up for touchdowns. For that touchdown from J.K. Dobbins. But Ladd McConkey. You have him on your fantasy team? Maybe. But dude, that guy came up big. I mean, we say clutch many times. I think it gets overused. But in this situation, I think it's appropriate to use the word clutch, because he came up big in this one. Yeah, those receptions, 2 big receptions to set up that touchdown drive from J.K. Dobbins. And then another thing, too, they outgained the Chargers. They outgained the Bengals in the first half, 272-126. And they almost still lost the damn game. You can't do that. Especially against the Bengals. You can't do that. You can't. And then the Chargers come into this game, they had the number 1 defense. They still do. Shockingly, right? Chargers, defense gave up a season high 27 points. And then the past, the other games they've had coming to Week 11, they were holding their opponents to 20 points or less. So season high in points. I mean, it was an utter collapse in the second half for these Chargers. They still found a way to win. Crazy, right? That crowd was going nuts. They couldn't believe what was happening. I mean, imagine if they lost that game. I mean, everyone wants to praise Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, dude, I don't care what your personal feelings are about him. The guy knows how to win. He wins everywhere he goes. Stanford, the 49ers, Michigan, now with the Chargers. He knows how to win. He proved it Sunday night. And then Joe Burrow. This guy leads the league in passing yards and touchdowns, and Jamar Chase, his guy, is the NFL leading receiver. So most receptions, yards, and touchdown. And this team still loses. I saw something on Facebook. The Bengals, are 0-3 when Joe Burrow throws for 300 plus yards and has 3 or more passing touchdowns, and they've lost all 3 of those games. Like, if you're Joe Burrow, you gotta think, what the hell am I supposed to do to win a game for this team? I'm throwing my ass off. 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 or more touchdowns in each of the last 3 games, and I still lose? Our team still loses when I put up those stats? Dude, what is this guy supposed to do? Help him out. And another thing, too, this guy was getting his ass kicked. I mean, he was getting absolutely annihilated by that Chargers defense. He took some hits, man. I'm just like, damn, how in the hell is this guy getting up? Like, he took some nasty hits, man. He's a tough SOB, dude. He's a tough son of a bitch. I don't care what your personal feelings are about Joe Burrow. He's a tough SOB because he took some nasty hits. That offensive line needs to help him out. That defense needs to help him out. You had a chance to beat these guys. Couldn't do it. Now they're 4-7, and that's a shame because that's another team that has a lot of talent and should be better. They should be a better team, but they're not. So, and then Justin Herbert, 8 straight games with no interceptions. That's phenomenal. And then out of his last 210 passing attempts, he's gone without an interception. 210 pass attempts without an interception. 210, bro. Dude, phenomenal. No one wants to talk about it because the Chargers, who cares about the Chargers? Dude, this guy's a quarterback. He's a hell of an athlete. It looks like he finally has a damn good team. His defense helping him out tremendously, having the number 1 defense in the league. You gotta love it. But then another thing, too. The Bengals had opportunities to win this game. Evan McPherson, my man. Let's have a discussion real quick. Have a seat. Come, pop a squat right next to me. Take a seat. I need to talk to you, my friend. You missed 2 field goals in this game. Critical field goals late in the game. Both went left. You're usually pretty good. But you've had some kicking issues this season. You missed 2 field goals in this game, brother. You can't do that. I'm sorry. You cannot miss 2 field goals on Sunday Night Football when you're at the Chargers and you have an opportunity to win against a good team. You can't do it. Unfortunately, he did. So, very unfortunate. Bengals, a lot of people want Zach Taylor to get fired. Who knows? But that's another team I strongly believe should be a lot better than what their record says right now. My opinion. Obviously they've had their struggles in years past in September. Just can't find ways to win. But that's a team that should be competing in the AFC North with the Steelers and the Ravens. And then Monday Night Football, we saw it. The Texans absolutely annihilated these Cowboys, man. 34-10. The Cowboys are 0-5 at home. So you're telling me after 11 weeks, the Cowboys cannot win a game, a damn football game, at home, at their own stadium? You gotta be kidding me, dude. 0-5 after 11 weeks at home. 3-7 on the year. Dude, and I saw another thing too, another stat on Monday Night Football last night. They scored 1 touchdown at home in the past 3 games. Only 1. 1 touchdown in the past 3 games. What the hell is going on with those Dallas Cowboys, man? That team sucks. I've said it numerous times, but I'm shooting it straight, my friend. They suck. When you have... Dak Prescott's out for the year, right? Hamstring, blown to shit. $60 million. He got paid. He ain't going to play this year. But when you have a defense that gives up 34 points against the Texans, who, by the way, has a decent offense. Not the greatest, but pretty good. Good enough. But when you give up 34 points at home against the Texans, I don't know. Cooper Rush. That poor bastard. I feel bad for him because he has no offensive line. Another guy who was getting his ass kicked last night. This Dallas Cowboys defense, man, or this Dallas Cowboys team, rather. I don't know what the hell you guys gotta do. You guys are obviously not gonna make it to the playoffs. You might as well just write that off right now. Mike McCarthy, how much longer does this guy stay on? Well, Jerry Jones, I don't fire anybody during the season. Well, Jerry Jones, I think you strongly need to reconsider because obviously Mike McCarthy has lost the locker room. Officially. If this game doesn't show that, I don't know what will. He has officially lost the locker room. These guys do not want to play for him, and you see it. I mean, they're just not performing at all. Their defense just getting their ass kicked by this Texans offense. The Cowboys only put up 10 points in 4 quarters of football. And I said it earlier. Why in the hell are the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football again? I mean, I'm sorry. Is this the 1970s when they actually won Super Bowls? I thought it was 2024, 50 plus years later. But I don't know. The Cowboys do not deserve to be on Monday Night Football. They don't. They don't. And it showed. A pathetic performance. Another pathetic performance by these Dallas Cowboys. 34-10, dude. Oh, my God. Woo. Yikes. Yeah, the Cowboys. Done. I mean, just, we have this thing called the NFL Draft that comes every April. Yeah, I think you guys need to start looking towards that and start maybe thinking about long-term, maybe getting a quarterback who actually can play all 17 weeks. Maybe try to find an offensive lineman who can block for you. Maybe try to establish a running game because your running game is absolutely atrocious. Or how about your run defense, one of the worst in the NFL? Maybe try to get some defensive linemen who can actually create a pass rush, who can actually get to the ball carrier. Because when you have Joe Mixon, who great running back, when you have Joe Mixon who has 20 carries for 109 yards and 3 touchdowns, dude, that run defense of the Dallas Cowboys is god-awful. God-awful. So, yeah, I think as a group, as an organization, let's think about April, because that's when the NFL draft is. And then maybe you can get some talent who can actually play. But, yeah, another disappointing loss for the Cowboys. Like I said, why the hell is this team on Monday Night Football? I don't understand. But Week 11 is over. And now we got to move on to Week 12. So Week 12. Gotta love it. Oh, God. The Cowboys, dude, I swear. It's a comedy show. Every single week. It's funny watching this team. Oh, we're America's team. No. You guys are not America's team. Cut that shit out right now. You are not America's team. We are. The Detroit Lions are officially America's team. We'll take that from you. Well, then prove it. You want it back? Prove it. Maybe win a game at home. It's been 11 weeks and you haven't won a damn game, a single damn game at home. Your run defense is absolutely atrocious. Right? Prove it. Okay, we got to go to Week 12. Crazy. I mean, regular season's almost over. But now, Week 12, we got Thursday Night Football. Prime Video, 8:15. Good way to start off Week 12. Steelers and Browns. Classic rivalry game, right? Russell Wilson, 3-0 as a starting quarterback for the Steelers. So maybe when they made that change over a month ago, putting him in over Justin Fields, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers knew what the hell they were doing, right? But yeah, we got to talk about this game a little bit. So Steelers and Browns. Steelers have won 5 straight. They're looking fantastic. The Browns, they're 4.5-point home underdogs in this game. They have a 2-8 record. They're horrible. Steelers are 8-2. They have the lead in the AFC North. Pittsburgh leads the all-time series, 81-63-1. And they'll probably win on Thursday Night Football. That's my pick, by the way. I got the Steelers over the Browns. And then they split the series last season. Pittsburgh winning their first game, and then the Browns winning the second game. But this game, Thursday Night Football, I don't care what the point spread is. The fact that it's only 4.5 points, that's crazy. It should be a lot more because this Steelers team is looking fantastic. I got the Steelers winning this one against the Browns. So you got that. And now the Sunday football, this coming Sunday. So you got the Bears and Vikings, right? 1 o'clock. Bears have lost 4 games. They're on in the last 4 games. 4-game losing streak for those Bears. The Bears, yeah, they suck. And their losing streak against the Packers has reached to 11. That's the longest in their rivalry game. I think it's 104 years. That's the longest losing streak between these two teams in NFL history. I mean, the Bears, god awful, and they're playing at home. I don't care where they play. They can play in Antarctica on glaciers, on ice. For all that I care, for all that matters, it doesn't matter. The Vikings are going to win this one. I got the Vikings beating the Bears. Then we got the Colts and the Lions. So the Lions are 7.5-point favorites against these Colts. So don't sleep on the Colts. That's a good team. Not great, not horrible, but good enough. The Lions have won 8 straight games. They've won back-to-back home games where they scored 52 points. And it's fourth time this team has done it, or the fourth team that has done it in NFL history. Scored 52-plus points in back-to-back home games. Now, the Lions are on the road. They're 5-0 on the road. The Colts are 3-2 at home. Okay, Anthony Richardson, hey, yeah, he might have needed a breather a couple weeks ago, but hey, man, he beat the Jets, and I get it's the Jets. Yeah, we exhausted ourselves talking about that franchise. Them and the Cowboys. It seems like every single time we're on the podcast, we talk about them way too much when we don't need to. But they're another comedy act too. It's funny. It's funny talking about the Jets and the Cowboys. These two teams, two iconic franchises. You know, when's the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl? Back in the 70s? When's the last time the Jets won the Super Bowl? Back in the 60s with Joe Namath? Yeah, okay. But anyways, getting off track there. But Lions 9-1 at home. Tied for the best record with the Chiefs. They're 5-0 on the road. Fantastic. Colts 3-2 at home. 7.5-point favorites for the Lions. I got the Detroit Lions. They're continuing this streak. They're on an impressive run right now. You got to love it. It's exciting football. It's inspiring. People all over the world love us. Lions, another franchise who are now traveling. You know, you have those franchises who travel. Like back in the day when I was a kid and teenager and young adult, you had the Detroit Red Wings, you know, traveling. You had the Patriots, the Steelers, another franchise where their fans travel, right? We're seeing that with the Lions. We saw that last Sunday night against the Texans. Lots of Detroit Lions fans there. A couple weeks ago at Lambeau Field. Lots of blue at Lambeau Field. We're going to see a lot of Honolulu blue. Yeah, got to be specific, right? Because you got the Colts. Honolulu blue. We're going to see a lot of Detroit Lions fans at this game. I got the Lions winning that one. Patriots and Dolphins. AFC matchup here. AFC East. I got the Dolphins at home. Classic rivalry game. I think Tua Tagovailoa has another great game in this one. They're -7 point favorites. This one they might not cover. I think this might be a closer game than what people realize, but I got the Dolphins winning that. So you got the Buccaneers and the Giants. So the Bucs and Giants. So Tommy DeVito coming in for Daniel Jones. So that's a clear sign that Daniel Jones is done. He's done with the Giants. He's 3-3. Tommy DeVito is as a rookie. So Daniel Jones, he had a $23 million injury guarantee in his contract for 2025. So obviously the Giants avoid that by benching him because God forbid if he got hurt, this guy's getting paid $23 million. He's making out like a bandit if he got injured. So they're just like, nah. You're horrible. You can't win games. Your performance sucks. Just come here and take a seat. All right? Your time in New York is over. And maybe that's a good thing. You know, maybe if Daniel Jones actually had a team, right? A defense who's top 5 or maybe top 10 at least. You know, if he had an offensive line who knew how to block because, you know, he's getting his ass kicked every other play. Maybe, you know, if he goes somewhere else, maybe he might have success, right? I mean, you have to remember, Daniel Jones led the Giants to the playoffs in 2022. Brian Daboll's first year as the head coach. Yeah, we don't remember that, do we? Yeah, it's been a couple years, but you know how New York fans are. They're very impatient. And it's not just football, it's any sport, right? Yankees, you know, Mets even, you know, the New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets. I don't know. or the Rangers, the Islanders. New York is a city where they want to win and win quick. And they're not doing it, the Giants. So, yeah, Jones could have got paid $23 million if he got injured. That was in his contract. And the Giants knew that. So they're just like, nah. Tommy DeVito, yeah, your cutlets or whatever you call him, Tommy Cutlets. I don't know. Tommy DeVito sounds like a gangster. Straight out of a gangster movie, man. Let's see what he can do. Dude, he was the third-string quarterback. He gets promoted to starting quarterback this week against the Bucs. So Drew Lock, that's how much they care about you. You were the second-string quarterback behind Daniel Jones. And they're just like, Tommy DeVito, our man. My guy, you're playing this week. So you have that. And then the Daniel Jones contract from a couple years ago. 4 years, $160 million guaranteed, or $160 million extension in 2023. And dude, his record, he doesn't deserve this contract. 3-13 in the last 16 games, where he's thrown 10 touchdowns and has had 13 interceptions. That's not good, man. And like I said, maybe if he's on a better team with an offensive line and a defense that can help him out, maybe he has more success. But I think the ride is over for Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. That relationship, boom, has disappeared. It's broken. It's done. So you got that. So with that being said, another team, the Giants haven't won a single game at home this year after now going to 12 weeks of the NFL season. They continue that streak. The Buccaneers coming off the bye week, they're going to win against the Giants. So I got the Buccaneers. Cowboys and Commanders. Rivalry game, right? Commanders at home. I got the Commanders because this Cowboys team, dude, I don't care if you put in Brett Favre in there. Yeah, Brett Favre. Because I don't know who else to think of. Maybe no, you know what? Better yet, put Aaron Rodgers as the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback and see if they win. No, they still lose. Commanders going to win this one against the Cowboys. Chiefs and Panthers. Panthers playing at home. Chiefs, they're going to bounce back against that. They're going to bounce back from that loss against the Bills. Chiefs winning that one on the road. Titans and Texans. I got the Texans at home. Texans 4-1, 8.5-point favorites. Stroud has a big game in that one. Broncos and Raiders. Broncos, dude, this defense is going to dominate the Raiders because they have no team. Broncos win that one. And then this might be the highlight game of the week. The 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. These two teams, when they play, it's exciting football. Whether they're playing in the regular season or playing in the playoffs, this is exciting football. Playing in Lambeau Field, the spread is 2.5, minus 2.5 for the Green Bay Packers. So the 49ers are underdog for the first time this season. I read that on A2ZSports.com. So the first time, 12 weeks, the 49ers are underdogs for the first time this season. So that's crazy. So DraftKings have a 1.5 dogs, underdogs for the San Francisco 49ers. So that's DraftKings. ESPN has them at 2.5 underdogs versus the Packers. And this is the rematch from last year's divisional round of the playoffs, right? The 49ers came back and won that one 24-21. Like I said, unbelievable game, a classic game between these two iconic franchises. And the 49ers are they have their first regular season game at Lambeau Field since 2018. So 6 years ago, last time they played in the regular season at Lambeau. And they lost this one 33-30 in overtime. Another classic game. And guess who the quarterback was that year for the 49ers? C.J. Beathard. Yeah, who? Who the hell is that guy? What are you talking about? Who's that? Stu nods. Yeah, C.J. Beathard, my friend, was the quarterback for the 49ers that year. Long time ago. Seemed like generations ago, right? The last regular season win for these 49ers at Lambeau came in 2012. 12 years ago. Alex Smith was the quarterback. Randy Moss, yeah, one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, scored the first touchdown in that game. Crazy, right? And then all time, the 49ers have a 17-12-1 record in the regular season at Lambeau. So not bad. Not a bad record, especially at Lambeau. Tough place to play. Their most recent win at Lambeau for the 49ers came in 2022 where they won 13-10. I do believe that was a playoff game. Cold. Packers looked like absolute garbage. I think Aaron Rodgers was a quarterback for the Packers at that time. Seemed like many years ago, though. And then the all-time series, the Packers lead this series 38-34-1. So not bad. That like I said, these two teams, anyone can win this one. And then in the postseason, the 49ers lead the series 6-4. Right? So this is a regular season game. Packers playing at home. 49ers, I just don't know, man. I think this is like a game maybe they come out swing for the fences. But the Packers at home, Lambeau Field, I got to go with the Packers, man. I like the Packers in this one. It's going to be a very good game. Like I mentioned earlier, highlight of Week 12. The highlight game of Week 12 and 425. So, obviously, primetime game on Fox, right? Has to be. Because they're not going to put the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Who gives a shit about that, right? Who gives a damn about that game? No. 49ers and Packers. That's going to be the America's game of the week. I'll be watching that one. But I got the Packers winning that. The Cardinals and the Seahawks. So, division matchup. You got the Cardinals 6-4, leading the NFC West. Seahawks came up with a big win against the 49ers on the road. They're playing at home now. They're 2-4 at home. Struggle at home. Cardinals off a bye week. I got the Cardinals winning this one. I like what they're doing there. They have a chance to win NFC West and possibly go to the playoffs. I like it. I got the Cardinals winning that one. And then Sunday Night Football, right? For Week 12, we got the Eagles and the Rams. So the Rams are 3-point underdogs versus the Eagles, right? The NFC West, you got three teams, as I mentioned earlier. Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers with 5-5 records coming to Week 12. So up for grabs, right? You got the Cardinals sitting comfortably, or maybe comfortably, if they win against the Seahawks Sunday with a 6-4 record. The NFC East, you got the Eagles lead that division with an 8-2 record. They won 6 straight. Stafford has a 4-2 record versus these Eagles. The last victory came in 2019 when he was playing for the Detroit Lions at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is on the road. They're playing in LA. Watch out for the Rams, man. This is going to be a really good one. But you know what? I like Saquon Barkley. He has another big game. He has a couple touchdowns. Over 100 yards rushing. It's going to be too much for the Rams to... It's going to be too much for them to handle. I got the Eagles on the road, beating the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. And then Week 12, how this one wraps up for Week 12. Monday Night Football, you got the Ravens and the Chargers. Slight home underdogs for the Chargers, +3. Which is, I mean, it makes sense, right? Chargers have the best scoring defense in the league, 14.5 points per game. And then you got the Ravens, who have the worst pass defense, 284.5 yards per game they're giving up. And this is all according to ESPN.com. So, do the Chargers start throwing the ball? I mean, that's how you expose the pass defense of the Ravens. Both got good records. You got Ravens 7-4, 3-3 on the road. You got the Chargers 7-3, 4-1 at home. Almost lost to the damn Bengals when they were up 27-6 in the third quarter. I am going to go with the Chargers. Their defense is phenomenal. Justin Herbert has been playing some great football these past, these past 12 weeks of the NFL season. Like I mentioned earlier, 210 pass attempts without an interception. Ravens, yeah, they lost to the Steelers. They're going to come in here wanting to win. They need a win, really, in my opinion. But I think the Chargers are going to win this one. It's going to be an exciting game, a good Monday Night Football game, an actual watchable game that doesn't include the Jets or the damn Cowboys. You actually have two decent teams going at. That's how Monday Night Football primetime games should be. But, hey, what do I know? And then you got the Falcons, the Bills, the Bengals, Saints, Jets. So we don't have to worry about them this week. And the Jaguars all on a bye week. So maybe the Jaguars are going to fire him during the bye week? Doug Peterson? I don't know. But that's Week 12. Those are the Week 12 picks for the Braves. So you got that. So watch football, play some bets, get your fantasy football lineups ready to go. So now we got college football. Tackle this one real quick. So college football. Man, you had the number 1 team, Oregon, almost losing to Wisconsin. Who? Wisconsin, man. Almost beat the number 1 team in college football. But yeah, as of right now, Oregon's still number 1. You got Ohio State at 2, Texas at 3, Penn State at 4, Indiana, Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss moving up, Tennessee at 10, Miami at 11, and then Boise State at 12. And then Colorado's at 16, Deion Sanders. So we're getting to the nitty-gritty of college football. You love it, right? Anything can happen. Any team can make it. You got a 12-team playoff this year. We'll get more into that when we get closer because we got to talk about that. You know, the expanded playoffs. You know, it was 4 teams, right? But now they expanded to 12. It's exciting. I love it. So you got that. But yeah, last week we had some decent games. Like I said, Oregon almost losing to Wisconsin. That would have been the craziest. That would have been the biggest upset this season. But Oregon held on. They're still number 1. A lot of close games this year. I mean, the Ohio State game from a few weeks ago, too. So yeah, you had that. Let's see what we had. So yeah, Oregon wins 16-13 on the road against Wisconsin. Ohio State dominating Northwestern 31-7. Texas winning against Arkansas. They struggled a little bit in this game, but they won 20-10. Penn State won against Purdue 49-10. BYU, undefeated BYU, losing to Kansas at home 17-13. That was crazy. Georgia winning against Tennessee 31-17. Struggled a little bit in that first half, but they found their groove, and Tennessee couldn't really recover after that. They got 2 losses, Georgia. You know, they're possible. They can still possibly make it. Notre Dame winning against Virginia. And then Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, another big game. 3 touchdowns. They dominated San Jose State. Texas A&M wins. Colorado won against Utah 49-24. Looked like they were going to struggle in that game, but they came back. Clemson and Pittsburgh. That was a close game, but Clemson holds on 24-20. And then Florida beats the LSU Tigers. Coming to this game, the LSU Tigers had a 5-game winning streak against the Florida Gators. Florida snapped that. LSU, just poor clock management, man. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Brian Kelly, like, dude, what are you doing with your team, man? You know, that was a big loss for you. You needed to win that game, for sure. But Florida wins that one. That was a good game as well. Michigan State losing to Illinois 38-16. And then the Michigan Wolverines were on a bye week, so we didn't have to worry about them. But they are playing this week against Northwestern. So hopefully, for the love of Christ, Michigan can beat the damn Northwestern Wildcats. Please, for the love of God, just win against those guys. Because in the following week, you got Ohio State. I mean, come on, we already know how that game's going to end up. Oh, my God. Woo, yikes. That's going to be a disaster. But now you got Week 13. You got Ohio State and Indiana. Indiana is undefeated. 10-0. They just gave Coach Kurt Cignetti. Yeah, what's his name? Kurt Cignetti. They just gave him a contract extension. 10-0, first time in program history. 7-0 in the Big Ten. Dominate. Absolutely dominate. But now you got to go to Ohio State. You got to go to Columbus. That's going to be a tough matchup. My heart wants Indiana because I don't like Ohio State. But Ohio State's a damn good football team. Playing at home, too. I got to go with the Buckeyes. I'm sorry. They're going to win. Should be an exciting matchup. But I like Ohio State winning that one. Miami and Wake Forest. Miami's going to win this one. I like what they're doing. You know, obviously they lost to Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago, but they bounced back. I think Cam Ward's got a big game there. Ole Miss and Florida. This is going to be a good one. I like Ole Miss. I like what they're doing. They beat who they beat a couple weeks ago. It wasn't Georgia, but another SEC matchup here. Should be a good one. I like Ole Miss over Florida. I think that's going to be a game where Ole Miss, they know they need to keep winning if they want to stay in the college football playoff rankings, if they want to play in the postseason. But yeah, I think they will win against Ole Miss. Yeah, Georgia. I was going to say they beat Georgia 28-10 a couple weeks ago. So yeah, Ole Miss wins that one against Georgia. I got them winning that one. So you got that. And then you got Michigan and Northwestern. Talk about that one real quick. So Michigan coming off the bye week. Hopefully they can win this one. For the love of God, please just beat the Northwestern Wildcats. Please. Please, please, please. So you got that. Georgia and Massachusetts. I think Georgia wins that one. Tennessee and UTEP. Tennessee bounces back and wins that one. Kentucky and Texas. I like Texas there. You got Penn State and Minnesota. Penn State wins that one. BYU coming off that loss against Kansas last week, going up against Arizona State, who are 8-2. Good football team. You know what? I'll take Arizona State. That'll be my underdog of the week. That'll be my upset of the week. Colorado and Kansas. I don't know, man. Watch out for Kansas. Beat undefeated BYU last week. But I like Colorado in this one. I think they handled their business. Boise State and Wyoming. Boise State. Alabama and Oklahoma. Alabama's going to wipe the floor with these guys for that. And then, yeah, Michigan. Like I said, Michigan and Northwestern. I got Michigan in this one. I really hope they can beat the Northwestern Wildcats. So, yeah, college football, man. It's crazy. Almost to the end. And now, to end this episode today, we got UFC 309. We got Jon Jones absolutely dominating against Stipe Miocic. And it's obvious. We saw this, right? Stipe looked like he's been off for 3 years. The guy couldn't move. He was throwing punches, and there was no power behind him. So Jon Jones, another victory. So who does he fight now? Tom Aspinall or Alex Pereira? No, obviously, I think Dana White wants the Tom Aspinall fight, but I think the fans want to see Alex Pereira. We'll see. But yeah, Jon Jones looking dominant as ever. Spinning back kick, dropped Stipe Miocic, and that was it. Game over. And then the co-main event, you had Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler battling it out again. They fought a couple years ago, and Charles Oliveira won that one. Charles Oliveira wins this one via decision. Another good fight there. Bo Nickel, another victory for him against Paul Craig. Chris Weidman fight got canceled because his opponent fell ill. So you had that. But yeah, UFC 309, man. Not a bad pay-per-view. I'll take it. And then, the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fiasco. Dude, the fact that fight got sanctioned is an absolute disgrace. Mike Tyson had no business being in that boxing ring. 58 years old. And he landed a few good punches, and the rest of the time, he just stood there and was biting his gloves. He had no business being in there. I get it, everyone made their money, millions and millions of dollars. I mean, if you could watch the damn fight, Netflix, what the hell were they doing? They dropped the ball. Buffering. And then the video quality was god-awful. And, you knew that was going to happen, right? But, yeah, what a spectacle. And that's all it was. It was a spectacle. So, yeah, Jake Paul, go fight a real fighter, please. And I really hope you get knocked out. Because you need to start waking up and smelling the fresh air a little bit. Stop fighting guys who are washed up mixed martial artists or guys who haven't boxed in 20 years. Actually fight a boxer, please. Do us all a favor. Stop making a mockery of boxing. And you want to take this shit seriously, right? Well, fight a boxer, an actual boxer in your weight class around your age. Then maybe we'll see if you can handle it. His only loss was against the actual boxer, Tommy Fury. Ding, 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 ding. I get it's a money grab, whatever. But with that being said, we're done. That's it. Guys, time with the price. That is the episode today. So thank you, as always, for joining me on this episode. You'll find this episode, the video version, on my YouTube page at Guys Time with the Brine. So subscribe to that. And then the audio version will be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Check it out. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week. watch football, watch some college football. We got hockey. Watch that. Place your bets. Get those bets going. You know, you got basketball too. All you basketball fanatics, go crazy this weekend, right? I think this is going to be a good sports weekend. I think Petr Yan and Davison Figueiredo are fighting, but that card starts at 6 a.m. because they're fighting in China. So I'm not waking up that early to watch fights. But you can also always watch football. You know, Thursday night football, you got college on Fridays, college on Saturday, you got the pros on Sundays. So watch football and enjoy the rest of the week. And you guys take care. All right, the Bryce is out. Peace. Take care, guys. Thanks again for joining me.